Welcome to I'm Sinspired episode 3. This is a series where I invite guests onto my channel to tell us about their careers and hopefully to inspire you to go pursue your passions. And today I'm excited to have my buddy Albert.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm very honored to be featured on this channel.
Great. Thanks, Albert. So tell us about your role and how you got into it.
Sure. So I am a data analyst at Mazda North America. It's a car automaker company. It's the American branch of the Japanese OEM company. So they oversee the operations for all US dealers. And my team is the data science and data analytics team. The role of the team is to kind of act as an in-house consulting team for other teams which might be more non-technical and more business-oriented. And so we take on requests from these teams and deliver it to them in the form of like a dashboard or some other analysis. I primarily focus on dashboarding and building these new or existing pipelines. And so I'll use tools like SQL or some programming language such as Python to pull the data, work with it a little bit, and then package it into the form of like a dashboard where, say, like execs or stakeholders can come in and just look at the dashboard in the form of like a one-stop shop. I like to kind of say it's a more consumable, more digestible format where they can come in and see where the overall health of the company is performing at. I'll usually work with data such as like retail sales, fixed marketing metrics, competitive share, and anything of the like, ranging from internal data that I have to go pull from third-party vendors. And so I get my hands on a good variety of data.
Right, so you have to do some coding, but also in this world, we work with so much data out there. And your job is to take the most important information and also and then present this in a understandable format to everyone. Like you said, execs as well. So does it kind of like influence their decisions?
I'd say it does. It kind of gives them a really high level picture of how our performance is doing month over month. So are we up or down for the month? So they just want to come in and see like really quickly how the business is doing. Sometimes they'll just want to see something as simple as a green number or a red number to get an idea of how the company market health is.
Thanks for giving us an overview. What is it that inspired you to pursue this career path?
I started off as a business major. Didn't really have much to do as for me breaking out into the data field. However, as of late, I've rethought that idea, since most people breaking into this field come from different backgrounds, such as say business or computer science. And so me going into business, there were many career paths. So I actually didn't really know what I wanted to do within the business field. There were many paths, but I didn't take the time to really explore them too much. Going out of college, I took on like an accounts payable staff role, since I heard from business class upperclassmen that accounting was a useful skill that I would use later on. But I kind of took their word at face value. I went into trying to break into accounting, just not doing too much research for my own, and I was kind of too late to apply with the firms and whatnot. So I was kind of contracting, doing accounting for a couple of years, and after that I did a 1-year Master of Science in Business Analytics, and that really helped me transition and pivot into something that I liked and I felt was a good fit for me.
Good, yeah, it's really difficult for people to actually pursue their passions. So you definitely took a lot of courage to go back to school, right? Mm-hmm. And so for you, it kind of felt like it wasn't a straight path to get to where you are today. What were some of those challenges that you encountered and how did you overcome them?
Going out of college, I really didn't feel confident in my skill set. So I lacked a lot of the soft skills and hard skills that I needed to really kind of thrive in a career. So hard skills being kind of like the technical ability and knowledge of tools, and soft skills being like communication and project management skills. And so once I kind of overcame that block or fear of gaining hard skills, I felt like empowered to be able to make the transition into the data field. So having these technical skills, I felt more marketable. And once I overcame not having the skills, I had to overcome not having the experience. Coming out of my graduate program, that was around the time when COVID happened. So that threw like a wrench in my plans. I left my accounting role just shortly after COVID happened. There was an opportunity for me to take on a business analyst intern role. The role opened up and I was talking about having an interest in business analytics. I was talking about my graduate studies, and so my teammates vouched for me, and there happened to be like a casual, unofficial opportunity. However, because I just didn't enjoy working in that role in that company at that time, I didn't take it on. And so because of that, I was actually out of work for like an year. And so I was really kind of kicking myself at that time. So I had to look to my connections, like family friends, college classmates, graduate school friends, to basically network, meet up with them, to not only just kind of hear their thoughts or get referrals from them, but to ask what their paths were and get some advice from them of how to break into the data field.
Right. So it sounds like for you, COVID closed a previous door, but it also opened a new one for
Yes.
you. And during that time, you did a lot of reflection, but also you really leveraged your network.
Yeah.
And I think, especially in our current environment, it's really difficult to get a job these days. This is where our networking comes into play.
Exactly.
Tell us the qualifications that one would need to get a similar position as yours. So this can be education, work experience, or any other volunteer or projects experience.
I would say in terms of schooling, like a graduate or master's degree is not required. I felt that it was necessary for me though to keep me accountable to learning the skills. These days there's data science undergraduate programs, but I didn't see those when I was in college. There's data science, data or business analytics master's programs, and I took one of those, and it really helped me to transition into the field. Like I was saying, it's not a required step. I would say what's more important is to have the skills that make yourself marketable. For instance, on your resume, if you're coming from a different field, they want to see that you're actively learning the skills to break into that field. For example, whether that's like Udemy or Coursera classes in SQL or Python for data analysts or data scientists, or some sort of like Kaggle projects. They want to see that you're taking the time to learn the skills. So I would say that's pretty important to breaking into the field.
It sounds like you can learn a lot of these just by taking online classes.
Yeah, there's lots of resources for data skills online.
How about the interview process? What is that like for a data analyst role?
You can expect like technical questions for sure. You might get asked SQL questions or to elaborate your workflow or thought processes in interview. And you can probably also expect like some sort of take-home portion to answer like a few SQL questions or Python questions. At Mazda, I've had to interview a few people. And so I think what we're really looking for is for someone to be able to communicate their workflow and thought processes smoothly and in a way that has just, you can get your thoughts across to the rest of the team, since we're a remote team. And so I'd say communication is pretty important.
So it's not just the coding part.
Yeah.
You really evaluate the reasoning behind the code or how to solve the problem. That is what you're looking for in these interviews.
Exactly. So soft skills and hard skills.
Got it. What is the expected salary range that one can expect for this type of role?
I would say, just to give a rough ballpark, don't take my word for it, but around 80 to 130K. Depending on your skill set, you may be paid more. And especially if you're like, say, a data scientist or a data engineer, you'll probably get paid around 130 or more.
So most of the time, over 100K.
Most of the time.
Great, thank you. What can be better about your job?
I wouldn't say it's something that can be better, but something that I would like to work with is data of greater maturity. So right now, the data science team at my company is fairly new. So that means we had to get really scrappy and work with data that may not have been very trustworthy at first. Though there were pieces of data that have stood the test of time. I would like to work with some data that's more mature versus data that's really kind of, I guess, messy and not yet validated.
Right, so maybe you're getting a lot of raw data that just hasn't been cleaned up yet. You're hoping that over time there will be some data scientists to help you do more of that pre-processing, so that will make your job easier and maybe even more interesting. Is that right? What is it that you like most about your job? What do you find most rewarding about it?
Personally, I would say I really enjoy a role that I can succeed in. With having a role that has some hard skills required, like technical ability, I find that easier to learn. And so I found that I was able to really achieve something, even if soft skills were something that came along the way. That aside, I would say in my role, I really enjoyed the flexibility of being remote, as well as being able to work at my own pace. Now, of course, I had to meet like deadlines and deliverables for these stakeholders, but overall, I had a fair amount of flexibility to do my work throughout the day. I really found it rewarding getting into some data, running into a bunch of errors, transforming it, and kind of finally making some sense of the heads or tails of the data and being able to present it. Really gave me a sense of satisfaction with my work.
Great. You mentioned remote work. So is your job like fully remote or?
Full remote.
Wow, I didn't know these still exist. Good for you.
Thank you. Although I would say something that I'm looking for is maybe like a hybrid type of role. I am still missing a little bit out on that in-person interaction. So that's maybe like a small nit or something that could be better about my role that I'm looking forward to.
You want to socialize with some of your colleagues here and now.
Right? Exactly. And I do think it's helpful for kind of to move up in your career.
What kind of advice would you have for someone who is currently pursuing a role that is similar to yours?
Definitely to make use of your connections. You have more connections than you think, whether they're college friends, family friends, like professors and whatnot. And these people, it can only help you like from reaching out to them. And something that I've heard a lot from people is that they just lack the experience. I think rather than worrying about the experience, you should consider yourself of learning the skills to be able to get the role or be able to perform well in your role.
Take initiative.
Take initiative.
Fill in the gaps that these companies are looking for in terms of the skill sets.
Yes, and have humility in terms of reaching out. Like I mentioned, like your connections can like only benefit you.
Don't take them for granted that they can help.
That too.
But also be very grateful whenever they are willing to do so, because they are doing us a favor at the end of the day.
Right. They are doing you a favor, and I think they would find it rewarding too from helping someone that's trying to break into their role. So have grit as well.
Right. So remember everyone, if you have any referrals that you want for your jobs, make sure to reach out to everyone, including myself. Albert, you have a second chance in your life. Would you pursue the same career path?
Practically, I think I would definitely. Just earlier, like if I had to appear to my younger self, I would obviously say pursue this role and start making active steps to help me break into that field a little sooner. Although I would say a lot of my friends are like software engineers, and my dad is also like a software engineer as well, but there's still no guarantees that I would have liked something like software engineering if I didn't try it. So I would say, yes, I definitely still do the same type of role since I do feel that it's a good fit. And I guess in my next answer, I would say a little bit about why I was thinking about software engineering, but ultimately I don't feel that it's a good fit.
I mean, you said earlier, but Albert, you're still in your 20s. So
Right.
you found something you're passionate about in your 20s. I think that's already better than most people out there. There are some people who wait until their 30s or 40s, and then at that time it's too late. So
Right.
you already did it early enough. But of course, we always wish we did it
Right.
even earlier, right?
Right.
So Albert, do you have any other last words you want to say to our audience?
Many words. I would say definitely try new things for yourself. Research these things for yourself. So in high school, my dad signed me up for a computer science class, actually a Java course, which was online, and we were tasked with making a game. And so I sorely did not enjoy that class or take anything from it, since it was, I believe, a CC class, and there were online lectures, and there was no way in heck I was able to learn Java in that environment. And so definitely look into things for yourself. In college, when upperclassmen told me that accounting was a good path, I kind of just took their word for it without researching it myself. So research things for yourself as well. Be able to make the decision on whether something is right for you, but be able to take the initiative to try new things and try new things more often while you're young. I did a internship in senior year of college, although I stuck around for it too long. I think I just stuck around since it was experience, but I was really doing like menial admin work, and so I didn't get out of it sooner, nor did I kind of leave like my low-level accounting job sooner. So know to try new things, like more things, but also to leave things when you feel something is not the right fit for you.
Thank you so much, Albert, for sharing your data insights as being a data analyst. Thank you, everyone. That concludes episode 3 of the I'm Sinspired series. I hope you found this video helpful, and a lot of insights that Albert has told us will help you go pursue your passions. If you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Sinspiration, for more content on how to grow your mindset. You've been Sinspired today!